The palace of Valaris Prime floated high above the silver clouds of the planet like a living crown. It was not built from ordinary stone or metal. The structure was grown from bio-crystal towers that shimmered with shifting colors, responding to the emotions and energy of the royal family. Long bridges of glowing light connected the palace domes, and beneath them stretched an entire world ruled by one of the most powerful civilizations in the galaxy. At the heart of the palace lived Queen Erithia, ruler of the Valari Empire. The Valari were tall, graceful beings with luminous skin and eyes that glowed faintly with psychic energy. They were known throughout the galaxy for their intelligence, diplomacy, and immense mental abilities. But despite her power, Queen Erithia had one weakness. Her daughters, twin princesses Lyra and Sarah, both only 6 years old. The twins were energetic, curious, and endlessly adventurous, traits that often made palace security officers nervous. The girls had a habit of wandering off to explore parts of the palace they absolutely should not be exploring, which was exactly what happened on the day everything went wrong. Queen Erithia stood in the Grand Council chamber, discussing trade negotiations with several ambassadors. The massive crystal windows behind her revealed Valaris Prime's glowing cities stretching across the planet's surface. The meeting had been long and exhausting. Then suddenly, a palace guard rushed into the chamber. He looked pale. The queen immediately sensed the disturbance in his thoughts. "What is it?" she asked sharply. The guard bowed quickly. "Your Majesty, the princesses." Erithia's heart tightened. "What about them? We cannot find them." The entire chamber froze. Ambassadors exchanged worried looks. The queen stood slowly. "Explain." The guard swallowed nervously. "The princesses were playing in the garden dome 30 minutes ago. Their attendant stepped away briefly, but when they returned, the princesses were gone." The queen's eyes flashed with sudden fear. "Gone? We have searched the entire dome, Your Majesty." Erithia's psychic senses instantly expanded across the palace. Normally, she could feel her daughter's presence like two bright sparks in her mind. But now, nothing. Her voice dropped to a cold whisper. "Seal the palace." Within seconds, alarms began echoing through the crystal halls. Security drones activated. Royal guards spread across every corridor. The ambassadors quickly stepped aside as the queen strode out of the chamber. The twins were missing. And in a galaxy full of enemies, that was a terrifying possibility. Across the palace, the search began. Every hallway, every tower, every garden dome. Guards scanned rooms with advanced sensors while telepathic Valari officials searched mentally for any sign of the princesses. Queen Erithia walked quickly through the palace corridors, her anxiety growing stronger with every passing minute. "What about the hangar bays?" she demanded. "Already secured," an officer reported. "The outer gates locked down. Any unauthorized ships. None detected." But that only made the situation more confusing. The twins had not left the palace. So where were they? Then another guard approached nervously. "Your Majesty, there is one location we have not yet checked." The queen turned. "Why not?" The guard hesitated. "Because it houses the human." 3 months earlier, a human soldier had arrived on Valaris Prime under unusual circumstances. His name was Captain Daniel Carter. He had saved the life of a Valari diplomat during a pirate attack in deep space. As a gesture of gratitude, the Queen had invited him to stay at the palace as an honored guest while diplomatic relations between Earth and the Valari Empire were being discussed. Daniel was currently the only human on the entire planet. The guard continued awkwardly. "We assumed the princesses would not be near him, Your Majesty." The queen frowned slightly. Why? Well, humans are considered unpredictable. Rithia sighed. Show me. The guest wing of the palace was quiet. Much quieter than the rest of the building. Queen Erithia approached the door to Daniel Carter's quarters while several guards stood ready behind her. For a moment, she closed her eyes and focused her psychic senses again. And then, she felt them. Two small familiar minds. Right behind the door. Relief washed over her so strongly that she nearly staggered. They are here, she said. The guards quickly opened the door. And the queen stepped inside. Then she froze. The entire room was silent. Soft afternoon light streamed through the windows. On the couch in the center of the room sat Captain Daniel Carter. He was asleep, still wearing his casual pilot jacket. And sprawled across him like tiny blankets were the two missing princesses. Lyra lay curled against his chest. Sarah was asleep across his lap. Both girls were completely peaceful. One of them even held Daniel's arm like a pillow. For several seconds, no one spoke. The queen stared. The guards stared. The entire search team stared. Finally, one guard whispered in disbelief. They fell asleep. Queen Erithia slowly approached the couch. Daniel stirred slightly but didn't wake. The twins were sleeping so comfortably that he had clearly been afraid to move. Lyra mumbled something quietly in her sleep. Human warm. Sarah nodded sleepily. Best pillow. The queen pressed a hand over her mouth to stop herself from laughing. After nearly an hour of panic, after locking down an entire palace, her daughters had simply wandered off and taken a nap. On the human, Daniel slowly opened his eyes. The moment he saw the queen standing there surrounded by guards, his eyes widened. Oh, hello. He looked down, then realized the princesses were still sleeping on him. I can explain, he whispered quickly. Queen Erithia crossed her arms. I would like to hear that explanation. Daniel spoke quietly so he wouldn't wake the twins. They came to visit earlier, he said. They were curious about humans. The queen raised an eyebrow. And we talked for a while, Daniel continued. I showed them some pictures of Earth animals. The queen almost smiled. They liked the cats. Lyra mumbled happily in her sleep. Cats. Daniel shrugged. Then they asked if humans really give hugs like in the stories. Several guards exchanged confused looks. Queen Erithia blinked. Stories. Daniel nodded. I guess someone told them humans are good at comforting people. The queen glanced at the twins again. Both girls were still asleep, completely relaxed. And then, she asked. Daniel smiled slightly. I guess they decided to test it. The room fell quiet again. Finally the queen sighed. All of Valaris Prime has been searching for them. Daniel winced. Oops. The queen looked at the peaceful scene. Two royal princesses sleeping soundly on a human soldier like he was a giant pillow. Then she finally laughed. The guards looked shocked. Cancel the palace lockdown, she ordered. The officers quickly left. Queen Erithia looked back at Daniel. You are aware, she said calmly, that my daughters now believe humans are the most comfortable beings in the galaxy. Daniel grinned slightly. Well, we do give pretty good hugs. At that moment Sarah stirred and blinked awake. She looked up at the queen. Oh, hi Mom. Lyra woke up too. Mom, humans are soft. The queen shook her head. Apparently. Then she looked at Daniel thoughtfully. You may have just solved a diplomatic challenge between our species. Daniel blinked. How? The queen smiled. Any civilization that can make Valari princesses feel that safe cannot possibly be a threat. And just like that, a human soldier accidentally became the most trusted guest in the entire Valari Empire. All because two curious alien princesses decided he made the perfect pillow.